You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and you're not going to believe what I have to say about the kicker position. I want to go to my guy, Michael Pinto, who sent in a $50 super chat on our live show. Says, I don't like to blame kickers for losses, but leaving potentially 9 points on the board is crazy. 2 missed PATs, a 2-point try that shouldn't have to be attempted, and 3 points. Punting twice from the other team's 40-yard line is just not acceptable. Cut Jude McAtamney. I don't know how to say his last name. Look, I have a lot of thoughts on the kicker position. I think the most frustrating one is this. The New York Giants signed Younghoe Koo in a tryout for him to be the backup kicker who inevitably lost the kicker competition to Jude at practice. But it wasn't just Younghoe Koo at the kicker workout for the Giants. Listen to this. Lucas Havrasilk, or however you say his name, Havraseek, was signed to the Packers 8 days ago. Since then, he's been 7 out of 7 on kicks. Today, he just made a 61-yard field goal to set a franchise record. That was on Sunday. Then Dan Duggan saying Havraseek was the only other kicker the Giants worked out when they signed Younghoe Koo. So, as we can go back to Michael's super chat here, not only did you sign Younghoe Koo to not play, you signed the wrong kicker. The other kicker you worked out is 7 of 7 and is hitting 61-yard field goals. So you couldn't even choose the right kicker. So not only did you choose the wrong kicker, you also didn't even play the kicker that you signed. You rolled with the International Player Pathway Program kicker. The worst part is the Giants thought it was okay to roll with Jude for the remainder of the season. A guy that has never attempted a kick longer than 40 yards. A guy that you don't trust to attempt a 57-yarder. So Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll came to the decision that we don't need 57-yard field goals the rest of the season. In an era where kicking field goals is being done at a higher clip from further and further and further away, the New York Giants employ a kicker who's never made one past 40 yards. That was the backup at Rutgers and couldn't attempt a 47-yarder. You punted from the 41-yard line yesterday. On Sunday. You punted from the 42-yard line on Sunday. You're playing with the hand behind your back because you don't have a GM that prioritizes the kicker position, and you have a GM that we know at this point can't evaluate talent. Should Jude have made those kicks? Absolutely. It's not his fault that he's on the team, though. It's his fault he's not good enough. It's not his fault he was in position. Never should have been in position to make those kicks or even take those kicks because he's not an NFL kicker. He's not qualified. Joe Schoen, maybe Brian Daboll. I don't know whose full decision it is to have Jude on the team kicking the kicks, but that is the bigger problem. They will probably move on from him. Brian Daboll said at his Monday morning press conference that he's going to evaluate the kicker position. Well, the guy that you didn't sign is 7 of 7 for field goals with the Green Bay Packers. And he hit 61 yarders. 61 yarders, the guy you worked out and didn't sign. And we have a kicker who can't even make PATs. The dysfunction is so strong through the New York Giants front office. Unreal. Who gets the most loss or who gets the most blame for the Giants' loss to Denver? Sound off for me. Max Sussman, what up, man? Time to cut bait with this regime. Got to believe between the D-line, Jackson, Cam, and Leak, this is a desirable job for any GM and head coach. Yeah, they've got some players at some big-time positions. and you might just have a franchise quarterback. So that's always exciting. I don't know if they're going to fire Joe Schoen. I don't know if they're going to fire Brian Daboll. I mean, if they got their franchise quarterback this year, why would they move on from him? That was the goal of the season, to find your franchise quarterback. Do I think Brian Daboll has put together a good enough resume to say he could be a Super Bowl winning head coach? No, I don't think that. Do I think that Joe Schoen can be a Super Bowl winning GM? No, I do not think that. Do I think Brian Daboll has the ability to maybe be that one day? Yeah, I don't think Joe Schoen ever does. He's made too many bad decisions. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if they make changes. If they do have some players, and I do think it could be a desirable spot. But I don't even know if we're going to get there at this point. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but I got to let you guys know that Prize Picks is back on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and they've got an awesome new promo deal going on for the real ones. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you could pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app. This is also new. And copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity, a partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in new feed tabs on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is easy. It's simple to play. You create a lineup of 2 to 6 players. You simply pick more or less on their projected stat line. The more players you have in your lineup, the higher the payout is going to be. You and I make decisions every single day, but with Prize Picks, it pays to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Kenny, what's up, man? Appreciate the love. Says, to be honest, I think Daboll is the only one who deserves to keep his job. Daboll went to bat for Dart, coached him well. That's enough for me and Daboll. And look, I understand there's some people who say fire Daboll and some people that keep him. I'm not really placing all that much blame on Brian Daboll for the Denver Broncos loss. If you want to go macro problem and say Daboll's to blame because he hired Shane Bowen, sure. That's pretty lame to me. I thought Daboll coached a hell of a game. I thought Daboll put his offense in position to have success. You put up 32 points, 5 touchdowns. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns against the Denver Broncos, a team that was the number 1 defense in the National Football League. You do that on the road. No Nabers, no Slayton, no John Michael Schmitz, with a rookie quarterback and his 4th start ever. I don't really have any bad words to say about Brian Daboll coming out of that Denver Broncos game. Now, has he put together a resume that says he's done a great job? No. Are there more pieces on the bulletin board that say he's a bad coach than a good coach? Yes. But he's at the bottom of the list for me when it comes to firing. He's at the bottom of the list for me when it comes to reasons you lost that game against Denver. But there's been other games you have lost because of him. But at the end of the day, he wanted Jaxson Dart. He got Jaxson Dart. He's developing Dart, and he's putting Dart in position to win. I like it. Carlos, greetings from Panama. Good thing we have a quarterback. He looks good. He does look good, and it's exciting. And he is showing that he has the potential, the skill set to be a franchise quarterback. And if that's what you were looking for out of this season, you might just get your answers on that. Drips, do you think the chucking up throws is permanent? I hope not. I don't necessarily think it is. First time, trying to put together a game-winning drive. A lot of pressure from the pass rush as well. He did that a little bit in college as well. You go back to the Florida game. He did it as well against LSU, was able to win that game. Jaxson Dart is a player where he is ultra competitive, and I love the shit out of him for that. But we don't need hero ball. We don't need Hail Marys. You're a good enough quarterback to beat him playing quarterback and throwing the ball all over the field and checking it down and getting the guy that's open and just moving the sticks and playing the position. You don't need to get it all back in one play. That'll come. 4th game ever. He'll be all right. Gary Lawrence, what up, man? Can we stay competitive the rest of the season? Yeah, I think this team has too many leaders, has too many people that are willing to do whatever it takes to win. Now, when you say competitive, do you mean win a lot of games? I don't know about all that. I think they're going to compete in a lot of games, though. I don't think this team's going to get blown out very often. Haven't been blown out one time this year. They've really been in every game in the second half. They just haven't been able to punch the right buttons down the stretch. Cough, cough, employ Shane Bowen. But, yeah, I think they're going to be able to compete in a lot of games this year. Schedule's tough. How many wins they get, I don't know. But I like the competitive spirit that this team is starting to build. If you still bleed Giants blue, you still love this football team, hit that thumbs up icon for me down in the comment section right now. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.